Hi guys, how are you doing? This is SB from TechCentury, and I can't believe that this stream is actually working because I've had so many issues now before the stream started. So I think Google Plus made it seven streams or seven separate streams, and none of them worked. So now this actually does seem to work. So we'll see. Maybe I can answer some of you guys' questions now. I know this is short notice, so I didn't really announce the stream beforehand, so that was just pretty spontaneous. But I still hope that you guys will actually enjoy the stream. Now I just have to post the link to YouTube so that we actually get a couple of people here on there. So give me a second. So I just found the YouTube link. I hope that this actually also works. So we'll see about that. But this does seem to work. So that's at least a good thing. Now, yeah, we'll see. A long time since I used this, and it basically changes all the time. So that's not the best thing about this to see. Yeah, it's just kind of pain in the ass, to be honest. But at least I got this working, so that's definitely good news here. And we'll just see whether we can get some people on there, even though it seems to be a very slow day in terms of just in general news and also just people on Twitter. So I assume a lot of people are enjoying the very nice weather that's outside, so that's also not a bad thing. So we'll see. But at least the stream seems to work just fine, which is definitely nice to see. And yeah, we'll just wait a second and then see if we get this started. But at least this seems to be working, which is good. And now it seems like it's not even actually working, so that's also great. So yeah, anyways. But we had the first viewer for a couple of seconds, so we'll see about that. But anyways. So I should probably announce these videos earlier, as we now see. So anyways. But at least it's working, which is at least one good thing after all the mess that was going on. So that's good to see. So we have the first view. So I have no idea who you are, but thanks for watching anyway. So I'm not even quite sure if I can also see the comments that are posted on YouTube on here, which is also kind of mess. So, well, I should mute myself there. So anyways, so if you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section below. And I think they should hopefully also then show up here in the window on Google Plus Hangouts. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping for. So we'll see about that. But yeah, pretty insane. So yeah, so it doesn't show up in sub boxes, which is great. And Google Plus is just an absolute mess. It's just incredible, just absolutely awful. And I have no idea where Google is going with this. I mean, YouTube is great and all, but these Google Plus Hangouts are a mess. And I think the real live streaming from YouTube is even worse. So yeah, anyways. So 7 people. Where are your comments or where are your questions to get me started? So anyways, Brand Pierce on Twitter actually asks, what do you think of the screen quality on the soon to be released LG G3, and what processor do you think it will have? So in terms of the LG G3, I think that the processor will likely be a Snapdragon 801. I mean, there have been some reports that LG is actually working on a custom chip, so maybe like an octa-core chip that they developed themselves, but it doesn't seem to be ready. So I would assume that we're likely going to see just the Snapdragon 801, which is kind of like the standard processor. And so yeah, I assume the Snapdragon 801. And then in terms of screen, I mean, the screen should be nice. It should be one of the first screens with 2560 times 1440 resolution, which is 2K, and that's definitely nice to see. But then again, it's tough to know whether it really makes a big difference. I mean, a lot of people have said that 720p is more than enough, but then again, 1080p screens do look really nice. So maybe that's the same. You probably don't need a 2K display, but probably once you've used one, it's tough to go back, I could imagine. So yeah, I'm not gonna judge this too early, but one thing is for sure, this should be one of the best displays that we've seen yet on any smartphone. So that's definitely the good news right there. Again, if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments, or also, well, in the comments, or probably also on the Google Plus Hangout event here. So I'm not quite sure whether it should show up, but at least here on the video page itself, I don't see any yet. So if you want to get your questions answered, then just leave them here, and I'll be glad to answer them as soon as I can. So yeah, but this just changes like every day, so that's pretty insane here. Oh no, I didn't want to open the Google effects to have like a silly hat on top or something, so that's not really necessary. But anyways, 11 people already, so thanks for joining. But again, make sure to leave some questions so that I actually can answer something. Until that, I'll probably just ramble on, for example, about WatchDogs, because I'm really excited. I mean, it should be released, I think, on Tuesday, so only 2 days from now, and I'm kind of hoping that I might be able to pick it up tomorrow night, which would definitely be great. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping on that, but I think the official embargo lifts on Tuesday, so it should be able to get it tomorrow night. A little bit like 5 minutes before the stores close. They usually already sell it, which is quite nice. So yeah, it's interesting to see what the hype is all about, because there's been so much hype, and the game is supposed to like be released a couple of years ago, no, not years ago, month ago. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on there, and I just hope that the wait was worth it, because it seems to be one of the best games for the next-gen consoles, and it would be like a really big letdown if it doesn't turn out to be so good at all. So yeah, Watch Dogs, excited, but I'm also kind of scared that it will suck. So yeah. But anyways, we'll see about that. Of course, it's tough to judge beforehand whether this is. Oh, I should mute myself. Oh, so there are all the comments. So I don't see them here on the event, which completely sucks. So I'll now go here to the YouTube page itself to actually read the comments and answer to you guys. So sorry, it's like complete mess here with the Google Plus and all. So Francisco Philippe asks, do you think the Nexus 5 is still worth it, or should I wait for the Nexus or new Nexus or Android Silver? So I think Android Silver, well, just in general, like to lay out the situation that it is right now, you could buy the Nexus 5, but it's relatively old. So the question is whether you should wait for the next Nexus, or whether there will even be a new Nexus, which isn't sure. So there were a couple of rumors going around that Android Silver is a program that will actually replace the Nexus program, so that the Nexus program will be axed completely, that there aren't any Nexus devices anymore, and that it will basically go the route of like the program from the just Google Play Edition program that Google has in the US. So basically flagships from Samsung, HTC will just rock stock Android, no skin on top, and that will be Android Silver phones. and then you also have like premium customer service. So that's kind of where Google probably tries to compete with Apple, for example, to like swap out your phone in store and such. So there are the rumors, excuse me, going on that this will actually replace the Nexus program. And if this is the case, then we won't see any Nexus device anymore. So I assume if you come from maybe like an older phone, the Nexus 5 is definitely still a great buy. Otherwise, even if there isn't actually like a Nexus 5 successor, so if there isn't a Nexus 6, then maybe you should just get something like the OnePlus One. I know it doesn't run stock Android, but with CyanogenMod 11S, it's fairly close to stock Android, and you can just do a lot with it. So I assume that if you want to wait now, take the risk that there's maybe a Nexus 7, even if it then turns out that there won't be another Nexus device, then you can just go ahead and buy the OnePlus One. So that's probably what I would suggest if you're coming from like a really old device, maybe like a Galaxy S3 or something. Then the Nexus 5 is definitely a nice upgrade. But if you have a pretty good smartphone, then I would probably either wait for the Nexus 6 or then something like the OnePlus One. Then Joe Richardson, what camera would you recommend for someone wanting to start making HD tech videos on YouTube? Sorry to go off topic. Oh, the topics that I suggested are just suggestions. You can ask whatever you want, so don't feel bad if you ask something else. But there's another very good question coming up. So this question, what camera would I suggest? It's kind of tough. I mean, in general, like every HD camera would get the job done. Even a smartphone camera would work absolutely fine, especially because for a lot of these smartphones, you can actually connect like a lavalier microphone to it. So that's also a solution that, for example, I think Rode has the SmartLav. So you can have excellent audio quality on your smartphone. And then, for example, also just, I mean, basically any smartphone these days can record 720p video, some even 4K. So I would assume that if you don't have a lot of money, but if you have a smartphone, just take your smartphone. If you really want to invest in a camera, then I would probably get like a Panasonic camcorder. Now, there's always this question whether you want to get like a cheap camcorder that probably doesn't have a microphone input and such, or whether you want to go all out for once. Now, I'm not saying that you should buy like a $8,000 camera or even 1,000 or 2,000, but if I scoop around here, then you can actually see my camcorder, which is the Panasonic SD909 camcorder. Now, this camcorder actually, I think, retails for around 600 or 700 euros, so it's definitely not cheap, don't get me wrong there. But it was an absolutely great investment that I just don't regret whatsoever. And I think I purchased this like 2 or 3 years ago. So my channel wasn't really that big, and it was a lot of money, and it was money that I had to invest by myself. It wasn't something that I was like getting in return from YouTube for the videos. But I went out, I bought this camcorder, and I never looked back. I used this camcorder for 2 or 3 years, and it has absolutely superior video quality, especially also if you use just the manual controls. So I can definitely recommend this. And again, this was quite expensive with like 600 or 700 euros, but then you don't have to invest again. So that would be a good recommendation, especially also for unboxing videos and such, because the autofocus is really good. But of course, you also have manual controls. So for example, you can use this ring for the manual zoom control, which is also nice to see. And overall, the quality is just superior. Here's the input for just an external microphone. And I can just highly recommend this camcorder. Now, this is the SD909, as I mentioned, but there are actually also already successors of this camcorder. So maybe you can find a cheap second-hand camcorder. And in general, Panasonic camcorders are quite excellent. And these SD909, or I think they're also called HX909, they are great. And yeah, they are not cheap, but if you buy this, you're good for like 3, 4, 5 years, depending on how big your channel is. So it might be worth to spend this amount of money. But again, if you just have like a really small channel, if you just want to start out, then also like a flip camcorder or also just a smartphone camera works absolutely fine. And there are a couple of big channels. I don't know what his name is. I think Mixin, he does a couple of reviews actually in 4K, only recorded on smartphones. So you can get excellent video quality out of that, which always impresses me as well. Now, the Lego Lady test, so yeah, your comment worked, so no question there. And then Gizem Sadria, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, asked, was there a moment in your life in which you considered to give up your channel? No, there wasn't one. There wasn't one, there wasn't two, not three, not four, not five, but basically probably like a million. So even though it might seem like my channel is relatively successful now at the 20,000 subscriber mark, it is never as successful as I kind of want it to be. And basically the question of whether I want to like quit it and just leave YouTube comes up basically like every day or every other day. So yeah, it's not something that I asked myself once or twice. It's something that basically pops up every day. Fortunately, I never really like pulled the plug on the channel, but I was a lot of times this close. The last time yesterday actually, so that's also why I had to smile when I read the question, because yeah, yesterday I was pretty close to it. So yeah, maybe I'm complaining like on a high level, but if I have like 20,000 subscribers and I see that my review of the Note Pro 12.2, which I put a lot of effort in, gets like 600 views or 700, gosh, then this is like the right time where I want to pull the plug on the channel, and I was just like, gotta quit and go. But again, fortunately I didn't, so yeah. But again, even though if your channel seems relatively successful, it's not saying that you don't have doubts and that you don't want to quit. And actually, I saw this video today from Duncan33303, so from Austin, not Duncan, and he has this weekly Q&A session now, which is pretty insane because he just crazy shit on there, which is pretty amazing. And he basically said the same. I mean, he said that he's happy with where the channel is, but that he will never be satisfied, and that's also kind of the same for me. So yeah, I won't ever be satisfied, and that's also why there will be the doubts coming in about whether I should maybe stop. And yeah, but I didn't do it. So that's probably the main thing that counts. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do the live stream. And yeah. Now, oh, excuse me. I gotta get off camera for a second because my nose, damn allergies, I'm telling you. I'll be right back. So I'm back. Oh, that was kind of fast. So I would probably also have muted my microphone, right? So anyways. So next question. Michael Sanyani, so again, if I pronounce the name wrong, I'm sorry. Germany to win the World Cup. Yeah, I have a Germany jersey right here, which is like 5 years old. Honest answer, no. I don't think that we stand any chance this year. Now, fortunately, we're a relatively good team when it comes to tournaments. So even though we are never like really the best team, when it comes to a tournament, somehow we perform relatively well. But honestly, I don't think that there's any chance. And basically, there's just like one wish that I have, and that's that any team wins except for Spain, because it's just getting boring. So I would definitely, with full support, say Brazil win the World Cup. It would be amazing if they win it in their own country. So, and I would be happy to watch it. So hopefully Brazil will win it. That's kind of my favorite, and that's kind of what I hope who wins. So yeah, maybe you guys feel different, but I just basically want Brazil to win, or any other team except for Spain. So the next question comes from Harvey Donald. Would you recommend the LGA 2011 or LGA 1150 for heavy video editing and programming? So I'm going to be honest, I got to Google this. So I assume these are sockets for Intel processors. Oh, I'm right. So good guess, I guess. So LG 2011 is for high-end PCs and servers. Now, I honestly got to say, I'm sorry, but I can't really give you a good answer on that because I got my Mac Pro. I'm pretty happy with it. I did build a gaming PC before, but I'm not really that into all the components, and I'm probably not the right person to give you advice on that. So I'm sorry, but I can't really answer that. If you have the money, get the best you can get. So that's probably my advice right there. The next question comes from Ayomi Igannan, and he asks, "What are you expecting from the new Nexus 7?" So again, there's like the question that we had also at the start of this stream, and that's whether there will actually even be new Nexus devices or whether those will be replaced just by this Android Silver program. And if there's a new Nexus 7 out there, or coming out, I should say, then there's not really much I can wish for. Just a bigger display and better speaker, hopefully front-facing speakers like on the Nexus 10, because these speakers on my Nexus 7 are like the biggest downfall, and the screen with 7-inch and 60x9 is also just too small. So I'm not too happy about that, and I just hope a bigger screen, front-facing speakers, and it'll be all good. Processor doesn't really matter to me because the processors are all so fast that they just do the job for me. I just want to watch some YouTube and stuff. I don't really need like a Snapdragon 810 quad-core chip with amazing performance for that. Next question comes from a username I absolutely don't know how to pronounce. So Loki, well, that wasn't even that difficult. Loki1. So do you know when the OnePlus One will be out for everyone to buy? Also, do you think most carriers would support it, or would you have to unlock it? First question, I have no idea when the OnePlus One will be available for everybody to buy. I wish that I knew the answer because honestly, I'm getting just sick of waiting for the OnePlus One. It doesn't help, at least in my opinion, if you have a great smartphone, if you can announce a great smartphone, show it on your video and stuff, but then just don't get it to just rush it out in the stores. And it did sound like they would just release it in like 10 countries right at the beginning, at least during the presentation, and then they were like, no, but first there are invitations, so you got to smash your phone for 100 invitations, and I think like 2 million people like participated, or 200,000, whatever. So it was like a really small amount of people that actually won something. And now then I just received like an email from them again the other day, and I was like, great, I can just buy it. Rain of invites. Are you kidding me? It was like 100 invites again, and I think again like 300,000 people or more participated, and then just 100 invites so that you can buy the phone at full price. It's just absolutely ridiculous in my opinion, and I'm slowly like hopping off the OnePlus One bandwagon. I want to have this phone. I want to have the 64GB version. I think this is an amazing phone, but if they can't get this stupid phone into the damn shops here, into the stores, or even let me get it from Amazon or their website, I don't care. But if I can't buy it, it doesn't really help. It's just like vaporware that they can produce like 100 pieces of, and it's just absolutely stupid. It like really pisses me off because I want to buy this damn phone, but I can like throw my $300 at the screen and nothing happens. And you can't even pre-order it. Let me pre-order it with like, for me, I can even like give them the money already, so that they are sure that I will actually take the device and that I'm not gonna like cancel my pre-order. But they're just like, oh well, we can't say how many people will actually buy it, so we can't produce too much. So afterwards, we will have too many smartphones lying here, and we will make loss. Then just take pre-orders, take the money already, and then just ship them out. Don't have all this bullshit with all the contests and stuff. It's over a month ago that this phone was announced, and it just absolutely pissed me off. So sorry about this little rant there. Next question comes from my good friend Mac Talks Tech. What's in the box behind you? I gotta think about that. Actually, the tripods that I had here for these LED lights, the YN302, and there are actually these tripods in there because I don't need them anymore, because I can show you I bought the Aperture Amaran LED lights, and they are here, so they actually fit on the tripods. of my little lights that I had before. So I don't need these like cheap ass tripods anymore, so I'll return them to Amazon. And actually the tripods themselves are like really small, but they just don't fit in a smaller box. So yeah, basically 90% paper in there, and then the tripods that are like $10 each. But I don't need them to be around me if I don't use them anyways. Then Frick200 asks, how excited are you for the LG G3? What do you think for the rumors? Will it be the best smartphone of 2014? Honestly, there is just one feature I really care about on the LG G3. Now, I had the LG G2 for maybe like 6 or 7 months now, and it was a great smartphone, except for one thing, storage. I had the 16 GB version. I know you can also get a 32, but they should just kill off the 16 GB because 16 GB is just not enough, especially if you have a 13 megapixel camera for capturing photos and also video. And I was running out of space so fast, and that was just my major complaint. So at least either make 32 GB standard on the LG G3 or make an SD card slot, include an SD card slot into the device. So I think HTC really learned a lesson there, even though I felt like for HTC it wasn't really that necessary, because HTC at least had 32 GB standard. So at least in here in Germany, I can't remember that you were actually able to purchase a 16 GB version of the HTC One, the original version. So 16 GB, I'll never buy a 16 GB phone again. So that was just the worst thing ever. So either give me a micro SD card slot or get to 32 GB standard, then the LG G3 should be an amazing phone, especially also because, of course, the 5.5-inch 2K display, which I'm like really looking forward to, and then also all the other specs. I hope that they improve the camera a little bit, even though the one on the LG G2 was already pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, basically the design is already out, looks pretty nice, but nothing groundbreaking. I still prefer the HTC One in terms of design. I assume that all of this like metal design is just like painted plastic, so I wouldn't really bet on like metal construction. So yeah, it's okay, but actually I only care about the SD card slot and of course the price. But I feel like with the OnePlus One, if they can get the damn phone into the stores, everybody will have a tough time to compete with it, because I wouldn't pay like $600 or $700 for the G3 if I knew that I could buy the OnePlus One soon for maybe like half the price. Then I would be willing to give up on a couple of specs like the 2K screen. Ben Tom asks, would you recommend building a Macintosh or a Hackintosh, I assume he means, or spending more on buying a 27-inch iMac? Tough question, because basically Hackintosh is something that I already thought about a couple of times, whether this wouldn't be the perfect solution for me, because I kind of want to have the flexibility to use whatever components I want, or especially just like slide in an additional hard drive. But then again, I'm personally like really reliant on my machine to work. So I use my Mac Pro not only here for YouTube, but also to write articles and such. Now, again, I don't really need the performance for writing articles, but still, it's a machine that makes me money every month. And if I don't have it, I don't make the money. So for me, it's very important that I can rely on this machine, that I don't take any risks. And with the Mac Pro, I know that if something goes wrong, I can walk into an Apple store and hopefully walk out of it with a new one if they can handle the supply situation of the Mac Pro, which is getting ridiculous. So at least in theory, that should be possible. And that's why I wouldn't buy a Hackintosh or just build a Hackintosh, because I don't have any support. And if anything goes wrong, basically, if like an update breaks the machine, then I'm screwed and I'm losing a serious amount of money. So I would go with the iMac. I had the iMac and I thought it was an absolutely amazing machine. And I can just recommend it to everyone. It was a late 2010 machine, so I've had this for like 3 or 4 years after it was released, and it was still performing fine. And if you can get a good configuration, then I think the iMac is definitely worth it. Goddamn allergies. So, anyways, Sorry, but these allergies are killing me again today. Next question comes from, oh, again, Gisem Sadrie. You pronounced it fairly nice, so okay, I guess I messed it up this time more. Another question, how did you get in contact with Mr. Tybox123 that much? Actually, I started talking to Adam, I think, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago on Twitter. It was actually a conversation that was very unlikely to happen because it was like about a completely different topic. I don't want to say like any names or anything. It was like about a completely different topic, actually a topic where we were completely different opinions, where we had different opinions, and basically we just like went head to head. So yeah, and then it kind of like turned around and we just got along well, and then we met in, what was it, Osnabrück, and in general, ever since then, we have pretty good contacts, and yeah, I'm just happy. I mean, Adam makes great videos, he's a great guy, and I also got my inspiration here for the whole setup from him, so, and that was also kind of funny, actually. He started building his desk, or actually, he got a company to build his desk, and then I think he had his desk installed, and I was just completely amazed. I wanted to have this desk, but obviously I couldn't afford something like this. So I was walking into this furniture store, didn't really expect much, and they had this table here that you all probably know from the setup tours. And I saw this table, and I was like, "That's it. I can like build a really nice desk out of this." I was in the store for maybe like 1 or 2 hours, just like thinking about how I could build this the perfect way. I knew that I had probably to buy 2 of these desks to like have the same tabletop against the wall. And actually, before I even bought the desk, I got on Twitter, sent Adam a DM, and I was like, "Hi Adam, I really like your desk. Would you mind if I would just buy or build something similar?" And it was kind of important to me that I was just not like ripping off his idea and just like stealing it, but he was like, "Sure, go ahead. I'm excited to see how it turns out." So I basically built this desk in like in one evening with all the LED lights and such, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, that was kind of how we got into contact, and that's also like my inspiration here for the desk and the entire setup. And in general, I think Adam is just a great guy with an amazing YouTube channel and an insane setup, of course, but you guys know that. So that's kind of how we got the first time into contact, and that was kind of a weird story. So the next question comes from Frick200. Best money for HDMI. It seems 1920 by 1200 is the max resolution. What would you recommend? Yeah, I mean, 1920 by 1200, there aren't really too many monitors out there, I believe, anymore that have this resolution. Most of them are just full HD now. In terms of good HDMI monitors, I would probably recommend the AOX that I have right here, the AOC i2369VM, I think they're called. And so they have HDMI, 2 HDMIs actually. They have a DVI, I believe, and also DisplayPort. So especially for the Mac Pro, the DisplayPort is quite important. So I would always recommend this monitor, and I think it's a great purchase. I think it retails for around 130 euros, and so that's definitely an amazing price with amazing quality in terms of display quality. It has an IPS panel, which is amazing. The viewing angles are just absolutely insane, and I never had any issues with those monitors. So that was probably would probably be my recommendation. Next question comes from Ben Tom. Thoughts on WWDC? What do you think will be released? Tough question. WWDC, I think it's happening on the 2nd of June, so not too many days to go anymore, actually. And it's like the perfect timing because I'll be on vacation for the first time since 3 or 4 years. So I won't even be home. I won't even be able to make a video covering WWDC, which is pretty bad timing, but in general, we basically only ever got software. So I hope that we see hardware, especially because Apple repeatedly said that we would get new hardware categories in these months. So yeah, not this month, but this year. And now it's like May, almost June, so almost 6 months passed by without any new hardware, just a really small refresh actually of the MacBook Airs. And I'm definitely expecting to see some hardware now. What I want to see, iWatch and the iPhone 6. That's what I want to see. What I think we'll see, Mac OS 10.10 with a new design, iOS 8 preview, and maybe in terms of hardware, a new MacBook Air, even though, well, a lot of people say the new MacBook Air would be like the easiest solution. So, for example, a MacBook Air with Retina display and 12-inch diagonal. But I don't think this will happen because we just saw the spec bump on the regular MacBook Air. So I would be very surprised, except if they release a MacBook Air with Retina display that won't replace the regular MacBook Air. That might be one option that would work. Yeah, probably a MacBook Air, maybe a new version of the Apple TV that finally supports apps. But I'm hoping for the iPhone 6 and the iWatch, and then I would go insane, honestly. That would be absolutely amazing. Michael Sanyani asked, do you think this year's iPhone 5C, I believe he wanted to say, no, will just be a 5S? Wait, let me think about this. Do you think this year's iPhone? Oh, I know what he means. So he asked whether I think that the iPhone like 6C that Apple will probably release alongside the iPhone 6, will basically just be the iPhone 5S. And I would kind of hope for this because this 5C didn't really make any sense, and I just hope that they keep the 5S for people who don't want to spend too much money on an iPhone 6. I think to keep the old phone is a way better solution than just rebranding it with a cheaper case and the same high price. So I would kind of hope that the 5S stays in Apple's lineup, gets maybe like 100 or 200 bucks price cut, and then that's basically it. That would be my hope at least. Gotta drink a little bit. Again, these damn allergies. Probably not the best time to make a live stream, but allergies weren't actually too bad before I started, so yeah. But thanks for all the questions, guys. So, Bernd Recker asks, did you only use Mac OS X, or is there a Windows Petition on your Mac? Basically, on all the Macs I ever had, I also had a Windows Petition or at least Parallels installed. Right now, on my Retina MacBook Pro and on my Mac Pro, I don't have any Windows installed at all. And even though I often feel like I should have Windows to do some stuff, I never really need it. And that's also why I didn't install it anymore, because in the end, I never really used it. And it was just something like, okay, I might use it or I might need it, but I never really did. And then we still have like a very old netbook somewhere here in my drawers, which I can just pull out. For example, if I want to root something on Android or something, then the netbook is just enough and I don't really need any good performance. So, yeah. John Turner asked, where did you get the new t-shirts from? Were they designed online or a blank shirt, then your logo printed on it? They look really cool. Thanks, Jordan. I wish I could give you an answer on that, but I can't, because the shirt that you saw was actually a gift from my sister to my birthday. And I have no idea where she let that made or how she did it. It's just an amazing shirt, and I love to wear it in videos because I think it's like a really nice way of just additional branding on the channel. So yeah, that's I can't answer this. I think she just like let it. Well, no, it's not printed. It's actually like stitched on there, but I don't know who did it or how much it was or whatever. So unfortunately, I can't really give you a good answer on that. Joe Richardson, have you ever been to the UK? No. I've been in a lot of countries here in Europe, but I haven't been to the UK, weird enough. So I've been to France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Greece, Turkey, where else? Austria, I think Switzerland once. And that's kind of like it. But I've never been to the UK, which is quite weird. But I've never been there, so UK is definitely something that I have to visit soon, and it would be great to meet some of you guys over there, also Adam, of course. So I hope that this will happen sooner or later. But for the next 2 vacations, I'll actually stay here in Germany. We'll just go to the ocean, and that's basically it. So no like real plans yet to go to the UK, but I definitely want to go. Lucas Nielsen asks, Lenovo Yoga versus MacBook Pro Retina. I personally would have to say MacBook Pro Retina. Now, I haven't really used the Lenovo Yoga Ultrabooks, but I know somebody who has one and he isn't really that happy with it. He has a lot of issues with them. And in general, when I try to find a good alternative, a cheap alternative to MacBook Air, for example, I ended up with 2 different ZenBooks, and they were both not as good. So I think that the price that you actually pay for the hardware on Macs is actually justified, and so I would personally go with the MacBook. I think it's worth the purchase. I know it's a lot of money. The first time that I purchased a MacBook back in 2008, I was still a student, so I didn't really have that much money, and my HP laptop that I bought in the United States broke like one day after the warranty ran out, had like a failure of the main board, and then I was like, I want to have a 13-inch laptop because I didn't want to have a 15-inch anymore. I want to have something smaller. I actually wanted a Dell Studio XPS 13, I believe. It was black with leather on it and stuff. But then I compared them, and it was basically just as expensive as the MacBook. I was like, no, I'm going to make the jump to the MacBook. I was in the store, I was picking up the MacBook, I was handing over like 1,400 euros, I think it was. And I was like, if I don't like it, can I return it? Because I was feeling so bad because of all the money that I spent on this machine. And in the end, I never looked back once. It was the best purchase I ever did. And true story, the MacBook that I bought back in 2008, so now 6 years ago, which is insane, now actually owns my mom, and well, not the MacBook owns my mom. My mom owns the MacBook, and she still uses it, and it still works absolutely fine. So it was a Core to do a 2.4 gigahertz version of the aluminum MacBook, which was assumedly branded the MacBook Pro. So yeah, it still works absolutely fine, and it's a great machine. Now, let me retweet this on Twitter before I get into the next questions. Akhil Kumar asks, what do you think about the Surface 3? Did Microsoft pull it off? Would you use one? Probably a surprising answer to most of you guys. If Microsoft did actually release it here in Germany, I would have bought it. I really want to try out the Surface 3. I think it looks great. I think it looks very promising. And I would have bought it. Simple answer. But no, yes, it was released in the US the next day, and here in Germany you can pre-order it, but it won't ship until the end of August. And in like the tech world, this is like a year. So I'm sure that until like the end of the year or until August, there'll be so many other things that I'm interested in that I won't give a shit anymore about the Surface 3. So while I think that the Surface 3 itself looks very promising and that should be a very nice just hybrid between tablet and laptop, they just dropped the ball on the international release. And say what you want, but that's one thing that Apple can pull off. They release it at least in like 30 countries at the same time. And honestly, Microsoft is a huge company. It's not like the Surface 3 would be so successful that they can't produce enough devices to launch it in multiple countries. It's not like it's sold out everywhere in the US. It seems like nobody gives a shit about it, to be honest. And so I don't know why they can't just also release it in Germany on the same day, or at least like a week later. But not like 3 or 4 months later. That's just so bad. Now the next question comes from ShadowCoinX, and he asks, what games do you play? Currently, I mainly play FIFA 14 and Titanfall on the Xbox One. A little bit of Forza 5, but not really too much anymore. So that's basically just the games that I'm playing. I'm kind of over Titanfall, to be honest. I played it a lot, and now it's just, I'm over it. It's a nice game, but it just gets repetitive, and I don't really enjoy too much, and that's also why I'm really looking forward to the WatchDogs launch. Finally, a new game for the next-gen consoles, and I hope that it can live up to the hype, even though I kind of have my doubts, as I mentioned before. So that's kind of tough to say, but Titan 4, I'm just over the game, and I just really hope that this will be now a good game to replace it with from just WatchDogs will be a good replacement. So yeah. Let me see. Now I gotta sort the comments again. Joe Wallace asks, do you think I should run 2 monitors off my MacBook Pro? Whether you should or whether you can, that's the question. If you have a regular MacBook Pro, that's not that easy because it just has one mini display port that just supports one monitor. You could also buy a USB 3.0 or USB 2.0 to HDMI adapter, but especially the USB 2.0 version has very poor performance, so they would definitely notice lag. And the USB 3.0 version would definitely be better, but I wouldn't really recommend that. So if you have a Retina MacBook Pro that can connect to 2 displays, sure, go ahead. If you just have a regular MacBook Pro that doesn't have too many display ports, then I wouldn't do it. Next question. I can't really breathe because of the allergies, so if I make weird noises, then that's the cause for it. The next question comes from Alexandra Popescu, and he asks, what do you think about Apple and Beats? By the way, nice channel, keep it up. Thanks for the nice channel. I'm glad that you enjoy the channel, so thanks again. What do you think about Apple and Beats? If the purchase goes through, which there are some rumors that it might not happen because Dr. Dre was like drunk and announced these sales, so maybe it won't go through after all. But if Apple really drops like 3.8 million, not million would be a nice bargain, billion on Beats, I think it's worth it. And I'm eager to see what devices they can launch together in the future. And I just hope that they can get up the audio quality and also the build quality on Beats products. And if they do that, then I'm absolutely fine with it. And then I'm looking forward to 2 new products. And I don't think that there are actually like any reasonable worries that Apple would slap like a huge Beats by Dre logo on top of the iPhone 6. Apple is very Apple is very cautious when it comes to stickers and stuff, and as you probably already know, there aren't any stickers on the MacBook Pro, and there's a reason for it. So I don't think that we'll see like a huge Beats by Dre sticker on the MacBook or the iPhone like you would probably also see on HP laptops or HTC phones. Wait, I gotta see something. So, yeah, anyways, so, yeah, Beats logo, anyways. So, Joe Wallace gets its Retina MacBook Pro, yes, then I think 2 monitors would be quite nice. Jasper Rex, greetings from Denmark. Hi to Denmark, thanks for watching. What did I do there? Was it like waving? Probably. Anyways, so yeah, greetings from Denmark, greetings back from Germany. Have you planned on going to Denmark? I hope you Germans like Denmark. True story. I haven't been to Denmark yet, and I don't really have any plans, but I definitely have to travel more. So Denmark would definitely be a nice destination. Also, what smartphone would you say is the phone of the year? I myself really like the Note 3, even though it's a bit old. Smartphone of the year so far, I'd probably say HTC One, even though I don't own one. So that kind of impressed me most. Excuse me, but maybe we'll also see those Prime phones, like the Galaxy S5 Prime and the HTC One Prime. So if the HTC One Prime will be released, and if it has like an 8 megapixel ultra pixel camera, then the HTC One has a very good shots. Yeah, anyway, so the HTC One Prime will have a very good shot at it. And I think that the iPhone 6 will be quite nice. Of course, the Note 3 is also a great smartphone, but it was actually released last year, so it might be the smartphone of 2013, even though that's probably arguable. So, tough to say. Probably HTC One for me. But let me know in the comments what you guys think is your smartphone of the year so far. The S5 didn't really impress me that much, to be honest. Next question, Jack Rocket. What would be your wish list for the next MacBook Air and the next iPhone? MacBook Air, thinner, lighter, better display. I don't really need a Retina display on the MacBook Airs. I think that's just where the Retina MacBook Pros are for, but at least like a full HD IPS display, because even though the panels on the MacBook Airs aren't really that bad, viewing angles can't compare to the Retina MacBook Pro just because they're TN panels. So I want to have better viewing angles, and a full HD resolution would be nice, because 1440 by 900 is so outdated. I mean, that's just getting old. Next iPhone, better battery life and a bigger screen. Those are like my things that I have on my wish list. Better battery life won't happen. Bigger screen will likely happen. So 4.7-inch screen is already a good start. So I'm looking forward to actually getting the iPhone 6 with a 4.7-inch screen. And yeah, I guess you could. They won't make battery life better. They'll just make the phone slimmer, and then it will have the same battery life, which isn't that great to begin with. So yeah. Your thoughts on the desktop NVIDIA 760 GTX graphics card? I'm not really into graphics cards anymore, so I can't really give you a good answer, but I think when I did the research last time, the 760 was a pretty good option also in terms of price and performance especially, so I think it's probably a good GPU to consider, so yeah. But I'll quickly Google search it, so. Oh yeah, that was also one of the GPUs that I looked at, so definitely good for the price, and I would definitely recommend it, even though I never ended up buying one, to be honest. So don't want you to get like a false impression. I didn't actually buy one. Wow, so questions are still coming in. I think we are online now for how long? Like 1 hour almost. So yeah, 51 minutes. So time is flying by because you guys keep asking questions here. So Alexandra Popescu asks, what's your daily driver phone? And that was basically for the last couple of months the LG G2, and I'm just so sick of the not battery life. Well, battery life also got a lot worse, to be honest. So my biggest complaint with it is though the storage of 16 GB, which is just way too low. It's just give me a micro SD card slot on the LG G3, please. If they have like all these other things and then the SD card slot is missing, and if they still release a 16 GB version, oh god, that would just be horrible. So yeah. Anyways, so okay, somebody asks actually over my website TechCentury.net. I was watching your live show today and I was impressed with the quality. May you share with us what speed is your upload and which camera are you using? I'm using the Logitech C920 webcam. It's a full HD webcam, and I think the stream also should be in HD. In terms of bandwidth that I currently have, I can't really tell you. I usually only have like 1 Mbit up, so it shouldn't be like insanely fast. But I guess it does the job, and the quality doesn't look too shabby. So yeah, does the job just fine. But the microphone probably sucks. And I was actually planning on using the microphone here on my SBH20 headset, but Google just messed up, or YouTube, and so the first try like completely went down the drain. It was horrible. So I just started it again. Didn't really expect that it would work, and so yeah, it did work. And now I have like the crappy microphone. So anyways. Alexander Blooms asks, what do you think the pricing will be for the Moto 360 in Europe? Will you be buying it when it comes out? In terms of price, I'm not really sure. I think there are some rumors that it should release for 249 euros, which I honestly can't believe. I think it's way too low, because if I just go back here and anyways, I was actually searching for my Samsung Gear Fit, and I can't find it. So I thought it was here. It was here, like, was confident. Ah, there it is. But it's actually out of battery, so. Anyways, so here I have my Gear Fit, which again is out of battery right now. And this thing is 200, so you see how this looks, how plasticky. You see how the Moto 360 looks. I don't think it will retail for 249. If it does, I'm buying like 3 of them. But I don't think it does. I probably expect a price of around 500 euros, to be honest. But if the specs are okay, if the battery life is okay, I'm paying 500 bucks for it. I don't care. So yeah, kind of, I'd expect more than 250. Jack, oh well, actually, I'll quickly answer the questions here on Twitter. From Paul Mitchell, what thoughts on the Surface Pro 3? I actually already answered, and I think that was it. So, yeah. So, questions here on YouTube. Jack Rocket, recommendations for wireless mouse and keyboard. I can only basically recommend what I have: the Logitech Performance MX mouse and the Logitech K811 wireless illuminated keyboard. If you're a Windows user, this also exists in the Windows version, Logitech K810. So work well for me, or also the wireless keyboard and the wireless mouse from Apple are pretty nice. Chris Trum, what do you expect from the iPhone 6? I already answered that. Basically just what I want is just like 4.7 inch screen. But in terms of what I expect the 4.7 inch screen, better processor, better camera, and that's basically it. Not really much more. Maybe NFC, but we'll see about that. So I sometimes have to like refresh the site here because sometimes the comments don't refresh at all, which is weird. Somebody else, I think, actually says Ala Madrid. So yeah, I did watch the Champions League final yesterday, and honestly, I wasn't for Real Madrid. But oh well, they won, and yeah. Only like, what was it, like 1 minute more and Atletico would have won, so what a shame, but oh well, that's just how it is. So I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds or minutes and see if there are any more questions, otherwise I'll wrap up this live stream. We're around 1 hour now, and I really enjoyed it, so thanks already for all the questions, guys. So if you have any questions, just leave them again in the comments and I'll make sure to answer them before I go. But otherwise, I'll probably end this live stream because of just my allergies and all that stuff. So breathing kind of sucks right now. And yeah, I kind of want to breathe. So let me refresh this again and see. But I think most questions should be answered. And I think that's it. So again, just a big thanks for all of you guys to actually come over here and watch the live stream. Again, it was short notice. I didn't announce it or anything. So I really appreciate you guys being there and asking all these great questions. I hope that you had some fun with my answers. That were kind of weird, but very well. So yeah, I hope that you guys also enjoyed the live stream. I think I now figured it out how this all works. So I hope to do more live streams also in the future again. I know there were like a couple of days where I did like 2 or 3 in a row, and then I stopped for like 5 months. So I definitely don't want this to be the case. I want to make them more often. And if you guys enjoy them, just let me know. Then I'll try to make time for them. I kind of just like took off work today, so that's basically why I had the time for the live stream. So. Another question from Chris Trum. Do you think there will be an iPad Pro? No. It makes sense, but I don't really see an iPad Pro or what Apple could market this at. So I don't think that we'll see an iPad Pro. But maybe I'm wrong, so you never know. I mean, I think I made a video that Apple won't release an iPad mini. And I guess you all know that I was absolutely right on that. Not really, but yeah. Anyways, so I'll wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I really did. So again, thanks. If you're not subscribed already, but I'm sure you are, then subscribe below this video and just leave a like if you enjoyed the stream. and I hope to see you guys very soon, probably on Tuesday, when I'll cover what the LG G3 brings to the table. Or maybe I'll be playing WatchDogs all day, so not quite sure if that video will happen. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.